Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of By Night, the series where I will be covering every night bus in London, every night and 24-hour service in London. And you join me at Barnet Hospital, out in the northwestern suburbs, near, funnily enough, Barnet. Where we're going to be starting on the N20, and like last week, I don't really have much of a plan. Or was that last week, or was that... Yeah, it was last week that I didn't have much of a plan. But we're going to be starting on the N20. Then probably heading down to somewhere southeast. I'm thinking of doing the N171 and N136, if I can get both of those in tonight. But we are starting up here in Barnet, and I can see my bus because it's going in like 5 minutes. It is LT756 on the N20, wearing a promotional livery for Bath and Body Works. The N20 recently changed over to these. And yeah, there's ES57 over there, ready to do a 307. And over here's the bus I got in, TE1751. TE1751 being one of the ex-First Centre West Trident Enviro 400s, new in 2009. There was a number of them running until fairly recently out of Uxbridge on usually the U4. But now there's like one or two left. I think one does usually the W8. And that's the first time I've seen that one do the 263 certainly in a while. So, Tridents in London, dwindling and disappearing very fast. Get them while you can. Meanwhile, I will be getting on the N20, down to Trafalgar Square. So, you now join me under the typically dramatic lighting of a right new route master. This one being LT756 on the N20. Someone pointed out in the comments of episode 1 that the N5 and N20 are kind of their own thing, and that when they were introduced they were branded they were marketed as the Northern Line night bus, each route serving every stop along one of the two northern branches of the Northern Line. The N5 covering the Edgware branch, and the N20 covering the High Barnet branch. Also covering the Charing Cross branch down to Trafalgar Square for Charing Cross. So, the N20, it runs down the High Barnet branch of the Northern Line. So we will be going through Whetstone, Finchley, Highgate, Kentish Town, Camden Town, and past Tottenham Court Road in the West End, and terminating at Trafalgar Square. Its allocation was, and you may have seen this in episode 1, while we were waiting for the N205 at Euston, an N20 came up and it was a B5LA Evo setting. Now it's got new route master design. The allocation's changed. It's in preparation for something, I'm not sure what. It might be electrification. Certainly be interesting to see what happens. So, so it's a Northern Line night bus like the N5, and thus does not have a daytime counterpart. So, without further ado, let's get to the B-roll. Yeah, so I've now made it to Trafalgar Square. The square itself is still blocked off for that event. That meant I couldn't film at my spot last time. But there's a 29 pulling in, so I'm going to get out of this bus stop. So Trafalgar Square. Surely by now for this series it needs no introduction whatsoever. We are here at Trafalgar Square. It's like London bus station. I want to go up Strand actually, because I want to get a snack first. I could do that when I get off the N171, but anyway, enough rambling. Yeah, so I'm next to one of the entrances to Charing Cross Underground Station. Directly underneath will be the Bakerloo line side. Rather famously, the Bakerloo and Northern Line parts of Charing Cross Station are quite far apart. So, yeah, underneath Trafalgar Square is the Northern Line part, and underneath Charing Cross Main Line Station is the Northern Line part. Did I say Northern Line part for both? It's Bakerloo under here, Northern under the Main Line Station. So, yeah, my next move is going to be to get the N136 down to Catford, where I'll be able to change onto an N171, which will take us back up to central London to Aldwych. So, without further ado, I'll see you on the N136.
Whitehall, Trafalgar Square. This bus is on diversion. Please listen for further announcements. Great Smith Street, Westminster Abbey.
So, the N136. It's a very busy route, so busy that you're having to listen to post-me talk over some footage of going through Vauxhall bus station, because it was very, very busy. But the route itself, the N136, runs from Oxford Circus station to Chislehurst War Memorial, via Trafalgar Square, Westminster, Waterloo, Vauxhall, Peckham, New Cross, Lewisham, Catford, and Bromley? No, not Bromley, Grove Park. So, yeah, it runs every half hour with a mixture of hybrids. I think it's mostly Enviros. It's all Enviros. So yeah, operated by Go Ahead, out of the London Central operation, and the difference between it and the regular 136, if I bring up bus times, is an extension from Elephant and Castle up to Waterloo, Westminster, not Waterloo, Victoria, Westminster, and Trafalgar Square to Oxford Circus, and from Grove Park to Chislehurst. It's, you know, very, very substantial extension, actually. Another difference is that during the day, the 136 is operated by Stagecoach. It's only operated by Go Ahead London overnight as the N136. I'm not sure of many places where the daytime and overnight routes are separate. This is the first time I've seen it. Normally they're contracted as a pair, because naturally they're basically the same route, so it would make sense to have them be contracted as a pair, but apparently that's not so for the 136. So, I've now arrived at Catford. Catford is, it's in southeast London. It's a little bit to the south of Lewisham. Ooh, that's very blue. That's very nice. My N136 is over there. And I'm now getting on the, ooh, it's very dark down here. I'm about to get on the N171 back up into central London. The N171 will take me around to Aldwych. It terminates at Holborn or TCR. TCR is Tottenham Court Road for those who don't live in London. We like to shorten things down a lot here. So yeah, so I'll be getting off at Aldwych and then doing something from there. Yeah, so on the N136, it was very, very busy. Not a hope in hell of me getting a word in edgeways on that bus. So, yeah, you had to put up with post me doing the recording. Hopefully he did well. Post me is smarter than present me, and also much more succinct. So, yeah. It's my light, I can go. So yeah, I'm about to get on the N171 and I'll see you on board.
N171 to Tottenham Court Road.
made it to Aldwych. Normally, very much a glowing, but it's 3 AM, so all the lights are switched off. So, yeah, I've just made it into Aldwych off the N171. Very fast run, but we arrived on time. That's just how go-ahead night routes are. That's an N15. We'll be getting into that later on in the series. Probably not too much later, but certainly not now. Although we are heading out that way, we're going to be getting on the N550 from Trafalgar Square. I'm walking down to Strand to get a little snack. If you're ever in London at this time, there is a co-op on Strand right by Trafalgar Square, and it's open 24/7. What is that? Is that an N550 or an N551? There's a city. If that's an N550, that might be mine, and I don't need to. So it's 12504. And it's on an N550, so that's probably my bus heading in, because I do have about 20-25 minutes to get down to the stop on Strand. But anyway, we're in the the N550 will be the penultimate route of the episode, and we'll be getting that all the way over to Canning Town and changing onto the 474, which runs from Canning Town Hermit Road to Manor Park, and we'll be getting that as far as Beckton, where I'll round things off. We get into Beckton about 5:30 in the morning. So, you know, midnight to 5:30, that's sort of the full length of the night service. I'm just turning onto Strand now. Aldwych is a very long road. Well, it's surprisingly long when you walk down it. It doesn't look that long on a map. But yeah, I'm going to get on the N550 and we'll head over to Canning Town. And indeed, we are on Stagecoach London's 12504, the vehicle that we saw passing by earlier as I was walking down Strand. On the N550, which we're getting all the way out to Canning Town. The N550, I assume it was introduced alongside the N551, given the similarity in the number, and it runs along the N551 through Aldwych, the city, Limehouse, until it diverges just beyond Limehouse to serve Canary Wharf and the bottom of the Isle of Dogs, then goes down to serve Leamouth before terminating at Canning Town. So I guess it's like, you know, it complements the N551 quite nicely in that way. And yeah, we're getting it all the way to Canning Town, where we'll meet the 474.
Alcoholic. I should have just left with Jeff. I knew it. Jeff was like, let's go. I'm like, yeah, I feel bad. I don't want to leave them alone. Jeff is not going to want to leave them alone. No, Jeff left them alone. He's like, fuck these bitches. I was like, yeah, I get you, but they came to see me. I feel bad. I don't want to get deserved. I don't want to be a party. Let's try to open I didn't know she was in the corner kissing that bitch. Bro, I'm trying to be a nice guy, bro. I don't want to be a prick every single time when I meet girls. You know I can be a prick. I'm trying to be different, bro. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be into practice of being nice. You're encouraging me to be a prick. You want me to be a prick? You know that I'm like, fuck you, bitch. I don't give a shit. No, Alina don't talk to me anymore.
Bishopsgate.
Alina? The one that went X and Y with us. That was yes.
So, it is now about 4:45 in the morning, and I have made it to Canning Town, a major transport interchange in East London. Behind me there we have the Jubilee line and 2 branches of the DLR. I can't remember which ones they are, but 2 of them. I believe it's the Beckton branch and the Stratford International branch. But, actually no, I think that's right. No, it might be 3 branches actually. It might be, yeah, it's 3 branches. It's the Beckton branch, the Woolwich branch, and the Stratford International branch. So there's a lot going on here. Of course, Jubilee line, and one of London's bigger bus stations. This one has, I think, 6 departure stands, which is quite notable for London. Normally we have 4 or something like that. And I'm waiting for the 474, which is one of London's 24-hour bus routes, running from the Hermit Road estate just up the road in Canning Town, down across the Docklands area, through Custom House and Beckton, via London City Airport on the way, then up through East London to Manor Park via East Ham. So my bus is due in 5 minutes or so I'll see you on board. 2011 ADL Enviro 400 E40D, one of the earlier integrally 400s rather than the older Tridents. So the 474, it's not a route I would have expected to be 24-hour, before I got into buses, but apparently it is 24-hour. And it starts up at the Hermit Road Estate in Canning Town, through Canning Town bus station, then coming out of Canning Town bus station, as we just have, we go through the Kia Hardy Estate, which is a massive, massive estate that receives a very good bus service. I think 2 or 3 overnight routes, one of them being the N551, another one being this one. Then it goes into London City Airport, before following the DLR and Elizabeth line alignment through Custom House, and then turning north to head through East London via Beckton, East Ham, and terminating at Manor Park. So, it's a very useful connection. Until recently, it was operated by Stagecoach, but that recently changed to Go Ahead London, part of their, specifically their Blue Triangle operation, out of either River Road or Hanley Road. I can't remember which one. As far as I'm aware, both garages are basically next to each other, so it doesn't really matter. But it's now at Go Ahead. It uses a mixture of these older Enviro 400s and B90L Rotoclips Gemini 2s for the time being. I believe the plan in the medium term, or medium and long term, is to replace these diesels with electrics, likely in the form of more EBD class BYD BD11s as used on other Blue Triangle electric routes. So, without further ado, let's get back to the B-roll, shall we? So, I've now made it to Beckton, a place that we've been before in this series, and a place that we finished an episode at before in this series. That was episode 7 when we came down from Waltham Cross with Lucy, of Rooting Through fame. So, you know, Beckton doesn't really need too much of an introduction, seeing as we've been here before. But I've never been up here. I want to see... Oh, that's just like a way to some flats. Never mind. I'm not even waiting for a bus at this bus stop. I just came here because I just walked away from crowds, honestly. This is take 3 of the outro. But if I go over that way, there, you can see a BYD leaving the bus station on a 101 to Wanstead. Which is not my next step. It was my next step after episode 7. But today I'm going to be heading up towards Stratford to do my own stuff later today. So, yeah, that was episode 10 of By Night. You know, started up in Barnet, where we got the N20 down to Trafalgar Square, and then headed south of the river once again in this series. We, you know, because we need to cover all of them, so we need to head south of the river. On the N136 down to Catford. Now, the timetable for the N136 is one of the worst timetables I've ever used. Because we were like 12 minutes late into Catford and it wasn't a slow run. It just got the weirdest timings on it, and it's just not very... It's not going to be a reliable service, so don't plan in any tight connections off the N136 like I did. Because it turns out 15 minutes in Catford was not enough. I missed an N171 and had to wait in Catford for half an hour at 1 in the morning, or 2 in the morning even, which, not the best. Not the worst, it wasn't bad. Catford's alright, as areas go, but I don't recommend giving yourself anything less than 20 minutes off of the N136, because it is not a reliable service. Aside from that, you know, after waiting in Catford for half an hour, I got on the N171, down, or back up into central London, and then headed east on the N550 to Canning Town, and then headed out here on the 474 from Canning Town. Now, that path that I said I wasn't going to walk down, I just did. So, yeah, it's a decent little neighbourhood actually. But yeah, so I think all that remains to be said is that was episode 10 of By Night. And I will see you on Monday from City Bus Manager on the South Coast, on Thursday from City Bus Manager once again from West Scotland, and next week from By Night. Bye bye.